Hey, Cards, Ryan Breckbill with the Center for Career and Professional Development here today to talk with you a little bit about video interviews with some tips and strategies. Feel free to visit us on our website. You'll see listed there, otterbein.edu/career, as well as email us at career@otterbein.edu. We are happy to do practice video interviews with you, practice interviews over the phone, whatever we can do to help you feel confident and prepared for that next conversation that you have. Before we get into our content, as always, we start with Box O Stuff trivia. So in just a second, you'll see a random trivia question appear on the screen. If you believe you know the answer, shout it out. And if you are indeed correct, feel free to give yourself a high five and find a small token of appreciation around your room, house, wherever you are, and say, job well done, Box O Stuff trivia champion. Here we go. Today's question. LeBron James has played for what NBA teams? Again, what teams has LeBron James played for? Counting it down, give you 3 seconds, 2, 1. Here we go. He's played for 3 teams, 2 tours with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat from 2010 to 2014, and the Lakers 2018 to present. So there you go. There is your Box O Stuff trivia. If you got that answer correct, well done. Again, give yourself a high five. All right, here we go. Video interviews. So before you have that video interview conversation, some tips to think about. You want to make sure that you're set up in a quiet area, that you don't have distractions, that there aren't going to be any loud noises around you, anything of that like. You want to be at a nice, quiet place. You also want to make sure that it is well lit. You want to make sure that you are not in front of a window. Oftentimes, it's difficult to see you if you've got a window behind you. You want to make sure maybe you've got some lamps nearby, but you want to make sure that it's well lit. Behind you is also really important. So what is behind you? Make sure that it's neutral, that it's not distracting. If you want to have some artwork behind you, that's totally fine, but you want to make sure that the focus is on you and the responses that you're providing, not necessarily what's happening behind you. So you don't want to have a bunch of clutter behind you. Make sure that you test audio and video. Make sure that you've got a strong connection, that your screen doesn't freeze, but practice with friends and family members using platforms like Zoom and Skype, just to make sure that you feel confident about this interface and how you present yourself through that. So practice, practice, practice. And again, CCPD staff are happy to do practice video interviews with you based on your availability and schedule. Also, before, you want to make sure that you dress professionally. It's still an interview, and you want to put your best foot forward. You want to avoid bright colors. You want to go with nice neutral clothes, but you want to still dress professionally. Make sure that all the tabs on your device or machine are closed so that the power of the device is really focused on supplying the best video connection for this conversation. And make sure that in the event that you do have some technical issues, that you have a phone number of your interviewer or of a contact at the organization or graduate school so that you can call them and maybe rearrange, maybe reschedule, or perhaps just do a phone interview. But make sure you have that phone number handy beforehand in the event of any technical issues, either on your end or on their end. And do make sure that your phone is silenced. Now, there's 2 types of video interviews that are out there. Those that are live, where it's, there's a group or an individual on the other side of that conversation asking you questions. But there's also this recording option where you're going to go into a software system and be prompted with a number of questions and answer those. And it's just you. You're just seeing the question appear on the screen. You are seeing a video, an image of you on the screen as well, and you are recording your responses to those questions. When you're done with that, done with answering those questions, then you're sending that interview recording off to a human resources contact there. So know that those are 2 very different scenarios. And again, we would encourage you to practice on both of those as much as possible so that, again, you do feel confident about your ability to share your experiences and skills. As you're conducting these interviews, it's very important to look at the camera. It is not a mistake as you look at this slide that you see look at the camera listed 3 times. You want to give that eye contact. So in a face-to-face interview, one of the most important things that you can have is eye contact. It shows confidence, it shows poise. Now, does that mean that you should not break your stare from the camera? No, you can look away just as you would in a face-to-face conversation. But we're tempted in this environment to look at ourselves on the screen or to see what else is happening on the screen. But as you're talking and responding to those questions, make sure that your focus, your eyes, are on that camera, because that is what the interviewers are seeing is your eye contact there, as opposed to you looking down at the screen to look at your image or anything else that's on the screen. Make sure you're sharing specific examples. Really focus on how you've made a difference, the contributions that you've made in class project, in internships, in community service, in part-time jobs. Use a variety of examples and make sure that you're sharing specific examples. Avoid distracting hand gestures. So you don't want your hands waving in front of your face in the camera. Again, you want the focus of your listener, of your interviewer, to be on what it is that you're saying and the examples that you're sharing, not either a distracting background behind you or your hands distracting their attention from away from what it is that you're sharing. Make sure that you are enthusiastic, that you're smiling, that you're excited about the role. Make sure that you have good posture, either that you're standing, or if you are seated, that you are sitting up straight and have good posture so that it's easy for you to breathe as you're sharing your examples. And again, look at the camera. So just some tips on why interviewing. At the heart of every question that you're asked by an interviewer, one or more of these three things that you see here are involved. Can you do the job? Will you do the job? And is it a good fit? So again, within any question that you're asked, the interviewer is trying to measure, can you do the job? Do you have the skills and abilities and experiences to succeed in this role? Will you do the job? Can you adapt to the things that we need? Are you genuinely interested in this role? And then finally, compatibility. Is it a good fit? And most importantly, for all parties involved. An interview is a two-way street. It's not just the employer looking to determine whether or not you're a good fit for their organization, but you as the candidate have just as much opportunity and right to determine if this is a good fit for you. Is this the right role? Is this the right supervisor? Is this the right organization? Does it align with your values? Is there opportunity for growth? Make sure that you're getting your questions answered as well, because you're interviewing them just as much as they are interviewing you. Why else do we interview? It's your opportunity to convince the employer you're the right person, and that's how employers make their decisions, is based on the information that's shared, more so during the interview than just what they see on your resume. Many of you will experience behavioral-based interviews. So cues to know when you're getting asked a behavioral-based question is, tell me about a time when, or describe for me a situation in which. Your employer or graduate school is looking at your past performance to predict your future behavior. So they're giving you a scenario likely that you'll encounter in this role for which you're applying, and they want to see how you're relating your past experiences and your behaviors in those experiences to see whether or not you're a good fit for that opportunity. So you'll see a few examples on the screen here as you're practicing with friends and family members or others. These are great questions to start with. We also have some additional questions on our website at otterbein.edu/career. Take a look at those sample questions and use them so that you do feel confident about the stories that you're telling related to your experiences. A great way to respond to those behavioral-based questions is an acronym known as SOAR. It aligns well with Cardinals, it aligns well with orientation, it aligns well with interviewing. So as you think about those specific examples that you're going to share, so when you're asked the question, tell me about a time that you were working as part of a group or team and one of your group members wasn't doing what they needed to do to help the group achieve its goal. Think about the situation. Was it a class project? If so, talk about the class, talk about how many group members you had, what the overall scope of the project was, and then go into the obstacle. What was the issue that was happening? What needed to be addressed? But then most importantly are the last two pieces of SOAR, action and result. What did you do and what happened? That's really where your interviewer is listening for your key attributes, the way that you approach problems, the way that you communicate. That's what they're really focusing on, are the action and results. So situation, obstacle, action, result is a great way to methodically take your interviewer through those specific examples that you're sharing, again, based on class projects, internship experiences, community service, part-time jobs, clubs, organizations, all the ways in which you spend your time. You've got rich examples to draw upon as you're having these interviews, and you want to make sure you're sharing those specific examples. Afterwards, make sure that you reflect. After every interview you have, there's an opportunity to learn. What went well? Where was I really prepared? I'm really pleased that I shared this example in this manner. And always, where can I improve? There might have been one question where you really struggled to find an example, or the example that you were sharing, you sort of stumbled over your words, but reflect after each interview. That will give you confidence as you go forward to improve and be an even more formidable candidate down the road. Make sure that you're also sending a thank you note. I can't stress enough the importance of that. Many candidates do not send a follow-up thank you note, and by doing so, if everything else between you and another candidate is equal and you send a thank you note, that could be the differentiator between you and them in terms of you getting the role. So make sure that it's thoughtful and specific, and if you need help, we've got some sample thank you letters on our website, otterbein.edu/career. That concludes our video interview training. We will have a couple of links in the description of this for a couple of other videos for you to check out that we use in our presentation when this is live. So take a look at those links in the description for some other tips on video interviewing. But again, know that our staff is here to assist you to do practice interviews with you, whether it's over the phone or video. We're happy to do that. And as always, go Cards.